Welcome everyone to Yoga by PT Kristen. Today we'll be focusing on stretching out our hips and glutes. So I hope you enjoy. This is particularly good for runners, but I think everyone can benefit from these stretches also. So to start, I want everyone to come down to their back with their knees bent, just to align our sacrum and low back here. So knees bent, and start by just bringing your belly button down towards the floor, and then try to roll down into your tailbone. So trying to move like a wave, tilting your pelvis here, and then try to keep your whole spine down on your mat. So you don't feel the really bottom part of your spine pressing down, but rather just below your core muscles and your sacrum or your low back area. And then we're going to start by just warming up our hips and our spine by marching here. So bringing your right knee in line with your right hip, and then bring it back down. You can bring your hands to your hips just to notice where you're at. And keep that alignment. So your knee's not coming up toward or all the way up to your chest, but rather just stopping above the hip. Keeping that low belly down, that sacrum. Maybe add your breath here. Exhale as your knee comes up. Inhale down. Again, we're just warming up. You can just breathe in and out through your nose if you prefer. And then hold your right knee in line with your hip. And we're going to slowly internally and externally rotate our hip by bringing our foot in and out. So your knee and hip are in line. And just move slow, come back to the middle, and then externally rotate, bring it back to neutral, internally rotate, back to neutral. This is a good way to lubricate the joint of your right hip. And you might notice it feels a little bit tighter when you bring your foot out, which is internal rotation. One more time each direction. And then give your right leg a break. We're going to switch sides. Left knee and hip in line. So from here, you're at the neutral, and then bring it out for internal rotation, back to neutral. Then bring your foot in, back to neutral. Just move nice and slow. Keeping that low back and belly down. You might notice one side feels a little bit tighter, and that's okay. One more time in each direction here. And then bring your left foot back down. From here, squeeze your butt muscles and your core. Elbows down as you lift your hips towards the ceiling. And then mindfully bring it back down, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Again, lift. And then slowly come back down. Good. From here, slowly bring both knees in towards your chest. Extend your left leg out long, just holding your right knee in towards your chest. And then gently and slowly bring your right knee side to side. Hands behind your right thigh as you extend and bend. Again, trying to lengthen the back of our leg here. And then bring the right knee in and out. So half happy baby here. If you feel it already right now, Then you can hold here. Remind yourself to keep your left hip down by gently pressing on top of your left hip. And then maybe with your right hand, grab the outside of the right foot. Extend the right heel up towards the ceiling. Still keeping that low belly and back down on the mat. One more breath in here. And exhale, gently release. We're going to switch sides. So bring your right knee in towards your left knee in towards your chest, right leg out long. So again, bringing your knee out to the side to start. Again, your right hand is gently pressing on your right hip, reminding yourself to keep your low back down and your hip. And then with your left hand, maybe grab the outside of the left foot if you need to go a little deeper, and extend your left heel up towards the ceiling. Again, for half happy baby, making sure you're keeping your shoulders as relaxed as you can here. So if you need to, you can bring that hand back down. And then grab behind the left thigh. Extend the left heel up towards the ceiling, then bend it. Again, just lengthening the back of your legs here. Moving nice and slow. And then when you're ready, bring both knees back and rock and roll a few times on the mat. Coming up to all fours or tabletop position. So we're going to warm up our front of our thighs a little bit more and our glutes. From this tabletop position, you're going to extend your right leg out long. So your right leg is in line with your right hip. Keep your hips facing down. So your spine is really long here. And then I want you to try to bend your right knee and lift your right knee a little taller. Maybe feeling that front of the hip really open up. Maybe bend that knee, open up the hip here. So your hips are facing the side, but your chest is still facing down. So a nice twist or rotation. Then bring your right knee back to center. Switch sides, left leg out long first to start. So one long line here, core still engaged. And then bend your left knee here. Lift your left knee a little taller. And then again, you're keeping your chest down, but you're rotating your left hip open to the side of your mat here. Breathe in. And out. One more, inhale. Exhale, bring it back down. Good. From here, let's bring your right knee forward, or rather your right foot. Low crescent. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So what I want you to focus on is that neutral alignment of your pelvis here. So your tailbone's not tipping back, but rather just directly under. Core strong. Try to pull up your abdominals here so you're not putting any pressure down. And then maybe again lift the arms back up. And try to lift your rib cage just another inch taller. So this should feel like a good stretch in the front of that left hip. And then maybe just a very slight side bend over towards your right side. Doesn't have to be a big movement there. That just helps target our hip flexors. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands back to center. Now turn your chest towards the side of your mat. Your right knee stays where it's at, and your left foot comes to the side of your mat. So instead of your left toes being back, just do a little rotational movement, about 45 degrees. So now try to turn your hips to your side of your mat. Keep your right knee opening, not letting it cave in here. This is a really good stretch for your hips, for your groin. And then try to keep your left hip and knee in line here also. Left arm is going to sweep up on the inhale. Exhale, side bend towards your right knee. Again, keep that alignment. And then when you're ready, slowly come back to center. We're going to extend our right leg out long, right toes towards your nose. Breathe in, another side body stretch here on the exhale. So now you might feel a little bit more on the side of the body and maybe a little bit more on the inside of the right thigh. Good. Then slowly bring your hands forward or toward the side of your mat. My right toes are pointing down. And you're going to shift your weight back here. And from here, bring your right knee in towards your left, and then extend your left leg out long. We'll just go in the opposite direction. So now your left toes are pointing to the side of your mat. From here, slowly come back up with your arms, and now point your toes towards your nose. Breathe in as you lift to the sky. Exhale, side bend to the left. So reaching your fingertips with your right hand up, and then side body stretch over. Still keep your left toes active here. Breathe in and out. Good. Slowly come back up. So now we're going to bring our left knee, we're going to bend it. So left knee and ankle in line. And opening up your hips towards the long edge of your space here. And then again, maybe bring the left forearm above the left thigh. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, side body stretch. And breathe. Maybe noticing if one side's a little bit tighter here. That's okay. And then good, relax. We're going to turn all 10 toes to the back of your mat. And we're going to move into a low crescent on the left side now. So inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Checking in with our pelvis. Tucking that tailbone slightly under, core engaged. And then lift through the rib cage, maybe with your arms and with your breath. And again, maybe just that slight bend over to the left side. That really helps open the front of your hip as you breathe. And slowly bring your hands back up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Exhale, hands down. You're going to tuck your right toes under, extend your left leg out long, all the way through that back leg. Right hand down, inhale, left arm to the sky for a twist. Breathe in and out. One more, rotate your heart towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands towards the side edge of your mat. Low lunge, left knee bent. All your weight's going to be in your heel here, very important for your knee. And then slowly walk the hands over to the middle. And then bend your right knee here. Keep your spine as long as you can. And then also your weight into your right heel now. Good, then gently turn all 10 toes back to the front. Left hand down. Inhale, right arm towards the sky. Again, you're going to look up on the exhale. One more inhale to rotate. Good, exhale, right hand down. Step your right foot back to high plank here. Breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your hands towards your feet. So you're coming into a forward fold here. And then slowly roll up. Good, you're going to bring your right foot over and then around in front of your left foot. So my feet are still right next to each other, but when you cross over, this is going to be a little different stretch. If you have a block, you can grab that also. Inhale, reach your arms tall. Exhale as you hinge forward, long spine. So my block can be as tall as it needs to be to start. I think that's really important. And then send your weight back into your heels here. So if you're tipping too far forward, you might not feel the stretch quite as deeply. And breathe. And then maybe you notice that once you get into the stretch a little more, you can bring that block onto a lower setting. Also, it's okay to walk your hands over to the right side for a deeper stretch. Or again, stay where you're at, or even bring your hands to your hips. That might still feel like a really good stretch for the outside of your left thigh. And then again, up into your hip. Breathe here. When you're ready, slowly, mindfully bring your chest back up using your core muscles. Good. Uncross your legs, shake it out here. And when you're ready, we're going to switch sides here. So left foot's going to go in front and around the right leg. So your legs are crossed here. Then inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Again, start with that tall block. Or maybe even a chair. That's also another option if you're feeling particularly tight. Let go of that judgment and just try to work with what you have here today. Again, our weight is in our heels, so you feel a little bit deeper of a stretch. And again, you can move that block and maybe come out to the side. So you're walking maybe your fingertips over to the outside of your left side here. Keeping that weight in your heels, you will feel a deeper stretch. And again, maybe come down to the lower portion of your block here. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, release. So chest comes up, uncross your legs, shake it out. Inhale, sweep your arms up as you look up. Exhale, hinge forward. And then bring your hands back down, downward facing dog. Chest press back, weight is in your heels here. From here, half pigeon on your right side. Inhale, right foot to the sky. Exhale, right knee towards your right wrist. And try to bring your shin parallel with the front. Or maybe on like a 7 here. So my hips are facing the front. And then maybe you're going to come down. It helps to use a block here also. Coming down to your forearms is also a great option. And try not to let your weight shift over into one side. Try to keep your weight equal into both hips here. You should feel a good stretch on the outside of the right hip or in the glutes. And maybe you come even lower. And maybe rest your forehead on the mat even. Just try to move slowly. Maybe keep your elbows out wide so your shoulders can relax. And then slowly come back to tall arms. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee, and then slowly slide your right leg back. Back to downward facing dog. We'll switch sides. Inhale, left heel to the sky. Exhale, half pigeon on your left side now. So again, your left knee comes up to your left wrist. Shin tries to stay as parallel as you can with the front. And then again, your hips are facing the front. Breathe in as you lift tall through your chest. Then exhale again, slowly come forward onto your forearms. Maybe you still need that block, that's okay too. Just notice if maybe on this side you need to just stay here and not go any lower. Again, try to keep your hips in the middle of your space. Not letting them kind of come off to the side. You won't feel as much of a stretch there. And again, maybe rest your forehead down on a block or anything that feels comfortable to you. When you're ready, slowly come back up to tall arms here. Now tuck your right toes under. Lift your left foot back. Downward facing dog. From here, come down to tabletop. And then cross your ankles and take a seat. Good. From here, we have a couple options for this next stretch. It's a figure 4 stretch, which is similar to what we just did, but different angles can produce different stretches for your muscle. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our right ankle and bring it over on top of our left thigh. You have the option to stay here and hopefully feel that stretch on the right glute. Trying to bring your right knee out a little more. Maybe you wanna go on your back so you can keep your neutral spine. Or maybe grab behind your left thigh and pull it in closer. So notice maybe this one lying down on your back doesn't produce as much of a stretch as sitting up. So you come back up and maybe you bring your hips a little closer to your left heel. That can also be a little deeper stretch. If you have any pain in the right knee, try to keep your toes flexed more. Or if it feels like too much, you can back off and slide your hips away from your foot. When you're ready, slowly release, switch sides, left ankle on top of the right now. So again, it's just above the knee on your thigh here. You're gently pressing that left knee open. And again, you have the option to come down on your back and maybe hug your right thigh in toward your chest. Try to avoid the knee specifically. And again, maybe left toes stay flexed. Maybe it feels good. Just slowly rock side to side. And then slowly release. Good. From here, on your back if you aren't already. And then knees are bent. And we're just going to bring our right knee over the left leg. So you're crossing your legs here. Let your knees fall to the left. You can make goalpost arms and relax your palms towards the ceiling. Maybe gaze at your right side. Breathe here. So this is a good stretch for your hips, but also for your spine. And bring your gaze back to center. And then slowly bring your knees back to center. Switch out your legs here. Cross your left leg over your right. And again, mindfully bring your knees to the right. Gaze to your left. Feeling that long twist in your spine, all the way from the top of your head, all the way down to your sacrum and tailbone. Gently bring your gaze back to center, then your knees. Good. Last stretch will be happy baby. So full happy baby, knees towards your chest. Again, maybe this is enough of a stretch for your hips. You stay here, or grab the outsides of your feet. Extend your heels up towards the ceiling, keeping your low back down. And then maybe rock side to side here. This is really good for your groin, your inner thighs. One more deep breath in here. And exhale, slowly release. Maybe take a few extra minutes here just to lay on your mat or come to a seated position. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me on your mat. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Namaste.